Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves, the new show bringing you the latest in Welsh sport, courtesy of third year students here at the University of South Wales Sports Journalism course. I am your host Ben Thomas, and on today's show, the FAW have announced their next step for their Project Chwarae, with a pilot season for non-competitive grassroots football starting next March. We visit Monmouth Sports Ground to speak with the club on how they are recovering from Storm Claudia, and I am joined in the studio by Callum Buckle to discuss Wales's final Quilter Nations Series match against South Africa. But first, let's take a look at the sporting headlines. Elfyn Evans makes his bid for WRC title glory in Saudi Arabia as he leads the standings by 3 points from Frenchman Sébastien Ogier. The rally is currently on stage 10 of 18, with Evans currently 9th in the timings table, vitally behind title rival Ogier. This season, Evans has racked up 2 wins as well as further podium finishes. Welsh captain Jack Morgan is a doubt for Wales's 2026 Six Nations campaign. The Ospreys back rower dislocated his shoulder in the opening game of the 2025 Quilter Nations Series against Argentina and is now recovering from surgery. The 25-year-old led his side as captain for the 2025 Six Nations, but now faces a prolonged period on the sidelines. Cardiff City will be without talisman Ruben Colwill for 10 to 12 weeks after the Welshman suffered ligament damage to his ankle in their 3-1 win over Northampton Town. Head coach Brian Barry Murphy confirmed the news but couldn't rule out any required surgery. The 23-year-old vice-captain of the Bluebirds has been in fine form this season with 3 goals and 3 assists in League One. The Football Association of Wales has confirmed its next step for their proposed Project Chwarae, aimed at reducing the number of games disrupted by adverse weather. But what does this mean for the game in Wales? Max Drinkwater-James reports.
Game. Wheelchair Rugby League is, as the title implies, a modified version of the popular rugby league format to cater for disabled athletes. The game was first played by the French in 2004, and 2 years later, the Rugby League International Federation officially endorsed the sport in 2006. In Wales, participation is on the up, with Wales Rugby League reporting an increase from 1,438 participants in wheelchair, physical disability or learning disability sports in 2021 to 4,342 participants in 2024. But what can be done to continue that growth? Well, to find out, I headed to the Welsh Rugby League Wheelchair Cup final between the Torfaen Tigers and the North Wales Crusaders to speak to former Welsh Wheelchair Rugby League captain Stuart Williams to see what he thought would grow the game further.
Today, well, it's a massively important thing for the sport. Like, obviously, the Welsh League was created, obviously, for the development opportunity of teams in grow and also outside of Wales, so invitational competition, and that's such a wonderful thing. And obviously, we've got people who are like played international, like myself, who are taking part and helping, nurture and hopefully pull forward players and developing them in the games.
Even if you've never heard of Wheelchair Rugby League, the sport has very little barriers to participation for new players or even those looking to create their own teams.
Yeah, well, very simply. I mean, obviously, there is clubs around. Obviously, we've got quite a few in the south. We've got the North Wales Crusaders in the north, and that. But obviously, if you get in touch with Wales Rugby League, they will put you in touch with the likes of Steve Jones about obviously local clubs nearby you. If there's a club or no clubs near you, maybe you're in the middle of the Wales, there's no clubs there at the moment, say Aberystwyth way or something like that. Maybe you might want to start something yourself, and they will help you in that avenue and help you by bringing you down to training sessions, showing you around, showing you what's going on, getting you introduced to the game and developing it from there.
A sport that truly caters for all, disabled or able-bodied, young or old, and no matter the gender, there is a wheelchair waiting for new players to get involved in Wales.
The town of Monmouth was devastated by widespread flooding from Storm Claudia in November. One area particularly affected was the town's sports ground. Max Drinkwater-James brings us the story.
Monmouth Sports Ground is a community sports hub for the town, with football, rugby, netball, tennis and bowls, all calling the sports ground home. The playing facilities are accompanied by a clubhouse which is used by the teams for match days as well as social events. But the future of the shared clubhouse as well as the playing facilities has been dealt a monumental blow after Storm Claudia brought widespread flooding to Monmouth.
Hearing about the news of the town flooded, and then slowly I think people realised that the clubhouse had been flooded, coming in through, I think, the gates by opposite Waitrose, and just probably about 3 feet worth of water inside of the whole of this place.
In a statement from Monmouth Tennis Club, they said the courts were submerged under roughly 3 feet of water, with flooding reaching above the net and remaining in place for around 48 hours. This occurred shortly after the courts had been resurfaced in mid-September, including the addition of new pickleball line markings. Given the recent resurfacing, there is now a significant concern that the pickleball lines may have been damaged. Any cleaning will need to be done extremely carefully to avoid harming the new surface. At this stage, it's still uncertain whether the surface or line work has suffered lasting damage. In a positive development, several nearby clubs have reached out with offers of courts and practical support, while ours are unusable. So far, kind offers have come from Usk, Lydney, Shrewsbury, Six Bells and Penalt. This isn't the first flood the clubhouse has experienced. However, this flood in particular poses a completely new set of troubles for the clubs to deal with.
There's been a lot of news about the community spirit in Monmouth, and it absolutely took place in the clubhouse too. About 60 people came down and swept out the water. We've got people in the changing rooms now cleaning the silt, the mud. The stage after that, we've got to get some disinfectant and we've got to sanitise the whole place. Whereas a couple of years ago we had a flood because of frozen pipes, that was fresh water. This is a whole nother level of jobs for us to do. We need to get it disinfected. Then we can work with our brewery, Molson Coors, who've been fantastic with their support. Once we've got it properly disinfected, they will come in and help with the pipes, the cellar, replacing some stock. There's a question mark about the outside and the pitch. We need to make sure everything is safe for people, because being a sports association, the individuals who collectively run this place are responsible for the safety of the members. So eventually we will get this place clean, and we will have to probably repair a lot of the furniture and replace radiators, floorboards, things. God knows how long that will take, but the spirit of the way the clubs and the community work together, it'll happen.
As often is the case in scenarios like this, a GoFundMe page has been set up to help raise money to get the sports ground back on its feet. While the floodwater here at the Monmouth Sports Ground has now receded, the long road to recovery now begins, which will no doubtly be boosted by the huge community spirit shown here in Monmouth.
It's now time for our student spotlight, as Max Drinkwater James speaks with second year sports journalism student Quinn Stables about his upcoming challenge for charity.
Quinn Stables is a second year sports journalism student at the University of South Wales, who is also a keen sports player and balances his studies with his fitness life.
So I like to play football. Played football all my life really for a team, and then also recently I've started doing more kind of running and long distance. Like I did a walk in Jersey called the Island Walk, which is a walk around the whole kind of circumference of Jersey. I think it was 48 miles. It took 19 hours, but it was definitely a challenge, but something.
Whilst Quinn loves the fitness aspect of these challenges, he doesn't do them without reason.
I did it for a charity called Love Millie, which is like a mental health charity. It's kind of been like family members affected by mental health issues, so I thought me and my whole family kind of came together and did it as one. We had like my whole dad's side of the family, had cousins and uncles and aunties joining in, so it was really good and just like rewarding experience to do all together. Yeah, I'm doing a Tough Mudder in May the 10th. Me and a mate are going to do it up in London. It's definitely something. It's the first time I'm doing like a real long distance run combined with kind of the physical activities of a Tough Mudder. So it'll be an interesting challenge, but I do think it'll be another rewarded one which will kind of keep me in shape, and I'm looking forward to like training for it and all that.
Training for a Tough Mudder is no small feat and often takes up a large portion of a person's time. So how does Quinn balance his training with his studies?
Yeah, it's just finding the right times, kind of committing to it, being dedicated. I think routine helps a lot. Kind of if you're doing things at the same time every day, just kind of getting in the flow, and staying committed and make sure you're kind of up to date and just regular with what I do.
So if you are a student thinking of pushing themselves, both in the lecture room and in their fitness, why not follow in Quinn's footsteps and sign up to a fitness event?
I am now joined in the studio by resident expert Callum Buckle to look ahead to Wales's final game of their Quilter Nations series against South Africa. So, Cal, what are the big talking points going into the final game this weekend?
Yeah, there are plenty of big talking points. Due to the game being scheduled out of the international test window, it means that players from clubs in France and England will return back to their clubs and not play international this week. So it means that key starters like Adam Beard, Thomas Williams, Max Llewellyn and Louis Samet will all miss. They'll be replaced by 4 other players called up like James Ratty, Ellis Mee, Evan Lloyd and Garen Phillips. The Springboks have made 8 changes to their starting 15.
And do Wales really need this game on the weekend considering the position they find themselves in?
I don't think a win is necessary, and obviously to beat the world champions it will be difficult, but I think a good showing and a positive performance, better than 12 months prior, could put them in good stead ahead into the upcoming Six Nations.
That's great. Thank you very much, Cal. Former Wales and Dragons flanker Ollie Griffiths called time on his playing career in December 2024. Now a year on, he's found a new career improving the livelihoods of others.
Wales kick off their Quilter Autumn Nation series this Sunday at home to Argentina, here at the Principality Stadium. Here is a fan's guide to those travelling to the capital for the game and what to expect from Cardiff on a match day.
If you are travelling by train on a match day, Cardiff Central Station is just a 5-minute walk from the Principality Stadium. On match days, some city centre roads do close, so public transport or the local park and ride service is going to be your best bet to travelling into the city centre. Once you are here, the pre-match buzz is everywhere. From the City Arms to the local Wetherspoons, pubs are packed by lunchtime, so get here early if you want to soak up the pre-match. Once you have taken in the truly incredible pre-match Cardiff atmosphere, it is time to head to the Principality Stadium, where you will see the men of Wales take on Argentina in the Quilter Autumn Nation series opener for the Welsh. After the final whistle,
And
take
finally,
your time.
Rounders was a childhood favourite sport for many in Wales, but now organisation My Rounders is looking to bring the game back to adulthood.
So I'm joined today by former Dragons and Wales back row Ollie Griffiths. Ollie, how are you today?
Yes, good, thank you.
So it's nearly a year on towards the date pretty much from when you've retired. What caused you to retire and what was the main reason for that?
So I had what I thought was nerve issues going on my legs. Once I had a scan on my back, they found out there was a tumour at the bottom of my spine and my sacrum. It turned out to be something extremely rare called LCH. So operation to remove that, but unfortunately there was still nerve damage afterwards. I can live a normal lifestyle, train, run. It's just playing professional sport out there was something I couldn't unfortunately do.
Yeah, and obviously with a condition like that, was that something that you felt you had to take in order to benefit you long term rather than sticking around just because you loved the game?
Yeah, I run the risk of any serious nerve damage if I did continue playing, and if I was in a position where I got caught and it was my S1 nerve, so going down the back of my hamstring. So if I got caught in a jackal position or something like that, then it could have made it even worse. So it was a no-brainer, really.
Obviously, moving away from your career, you've really found a new sort of life in the sport. You've obviously joined up with the Dragons, part of the S&C team, and you've got your own online coaching. Has that always been a passion of yours? Have you always had a passion for the health and fitness sort of side of the sport?
Yeah, I think all throughout my career, I always loved the training side. Probably more so than the rugby side, to be honest, but just hugely passionate about training, fitness, health, nutrition in general. So like that transition came quite naturally. I still finished, obviously, a career cut short, still had a lot of drive and energy. So quite fortunate that I've got something to pour that into now and a passion of mine where I can really give my all. And that's with the Dragons as a strength and conditioning coach and also with the online coaching, which is going really well and find it very rewarding as well.
Focusing on the Dragons, is it good to still be around that rugby environment, still be within a group of players that you can sort of familiarise yourself with, but you know you are not putting your own health at risk?
Yeah, it's great. That's the one thing I missed massively when I first retired and having taken, say, 6 to 8 months off.
That brings an end to this edition of A Game of Two Halves, but before we go, let's take a look at what's to come at 2 o'clock. That is all we have time for on today's Game of Two Halves. I have been your host, Ben Thomas, and from myself and the rest of the production team, thank you and goodbye.